tonight here in São Paulo as 6 Karma, Mexico's best, and STE Gaming, Brazil's top seed, face off here in the bottom of the Swiss stage. And like the desk put, Marks, a lot of this is going to come down to what mistakes have these teams been able to right so far in Ascension. There is a lot of film already worth studying on these guys in their losses. A lot of things that could very easily be fixed in the back. Comes down to who did it more.
Yeah, at this point, are we basically just the Grim Reapers of Ascension? Because we started with the first elimination day, and now, unfortunately, we got to say goodbye to one more team. STE up against 6 Karma, and exactly like you said, a lot of mistakes, a lot of kind of holes existing in both of these two teams' compositions, but it really will just come down to that moment to moment to see which team can kind of adapt themselves in order to patch up the holes a little bit, make sure the ship isn't fully sinking, bail out some of the water, and of course 6 Karma changing up their composition on this one. I'm very glad the desk highlighted it because they really leaned into the chamber the previous times that we've seen them do things, and so them moving away from it feels like they want to lean a little bit more into that utility. And well, you know Josera is still going to be able to frag out on that more lurking Viper role. I just wonder if enough time has been given for them to really practice some of that stuff.
6K will start things out on the attack here, and Mephisto, as always, the first to act, first to enter. STE pretty easily able to tear that away. And he has actually found the second in the meantime as well. I mean, this is a complete strip search before they've even really entered the site. So 6K's real kills come from the poking on main, and that can only go on for so long. Zenatsu's turn to go wild in the kill feed, and STE will kick things off with a bang to their home crowd.
Yeah, a great job coming in from them. I mean, just the Viper utility alone was enough to really deter anybody from going into the site. Of course, seeing that kind of snake bite kill come through is very satisfying. You got to agree 100%. But the defenders were just really ready to just hop onto the site and get ready to hold these angles from 6 Karma just moving in there. And so it's just an easy open and shut case for them. Reinforcements came through, and yeah, STE Gaming, I mean, it's their home crowd to win here, so you know they're going to be feeling that momentum come out from the audience.
You know it's going to be loud in there. It's got to be exciting for these guys. 6 Karma, it's got to be exciting for them too. And something they're used to as well after already getting their reps in against Red Cannons in the play-in. 6 Karma is one of the teams that's played the most rounds so far on this stage when nerves have been such a pivotal part of these teams' early performance.
A bit more aggression coming out from the defenders this time around. Not really willing to yield any of that space in middle, but now the double duelists will be holding just outside of A. Zora going to be the first contact there, rifle in hand, but actually backs off, and well, gets a bit out here as Zenatsu goes huge.
I mean, that's a gorgeous trap play. Just have him looking somewhere else, go for the W key, stick Zenatsu nice and close, and get him to start farming that overdrive, which he's already just 2 orbs away from. So, in theory, if you find an early main line and get him that orb, very easily able to break into this bonus that STE are just going to sail into. Yeah, I mean, no notes for that one.
I'm pretty sure at that point, Zora was just spam left-clicking, be like, look in my direction, you know where I'm running, you know what's going on, and it just completely just foils anything that 6 Karma wanted to do because, yeah, I mean, you just got the Neon stand and guard with the judge in hand, and the spam will do more than enough to be able to make that one happen. Paloncito, though, this time finding Zora to start things off just outside of that B site. So at least that's one less defender that 6 Karma will have to be worried about as they look to potentially find their first round in this map.
If there's anybody who's going to be able to establish that pack presence, it is Peloncito. As the IGL, as the main man that plays on site to let those tendrils of 6K extend. But it's Mephisto that has to make his way in first. And already solo, one shot, one breath, shuts the spear tip of this very crucial bonus push down.
And Mephisto, the player that the desk was saying really needs to kind of heat up, and I tend to agree. I mean, currently playing the Waylay, one of the very first people to play that Waylay seriously into any of these compositions, but has been kind of quiet thus far in this Ascension tournament. Looking for that turn-up moment where we really see what he's capable of.
Yeah. Waiting to let the other members of Stellai activate, and 6K will take that as the initiative. Mephisto,
oh, no.
Stuck in the bite, and that lower health pool doesn't do him any work.
Toxins going up.
Now comes the crunch. Paranoia on one lane, seized away, and so Sabor can spray it down. And 6K established that presence indeed. They take the bonus.
I mean, yeah, Mephisto kind of goes down to the snake bite there, but now you understand just how important it was in their post-plant, in the planning of 6 Karma to be able to take out that Heaven Sight, because as soon as they are able to get that, then it's so easy for the Omen to just rain bullets down up top against all the members from Stellai Gaming, walking through, trying to retake it. And yeah, it's just Sabor playing from above and honestly dragging attention. So a good round for 6 Karma, not exactly the best of how they would want things to go. You see a couple of those regen shields being bought up, but regardless, they will have enough weaponry to really take Stellai once again. And let's see if they're able to convert it this time around, as Sora will have that operator, and Zenatsu does have the overdrive ready to go in case things get to be under that level of pressure.
Feels like a lot of the tier 2 meta for Corrode at the moment revolves around finding the right spots to be a diversion and the right moments to convert those diversions into actual kills. Because you can improvise so easily off of the angles that you're able to create if you just get that one wanted frag. Seems like that's what 6K are searching for here in mid, is with the help of this toxic screen that Josera can set up, they'll start heading into the A connector for at least some passive presence, as they'll peek into B main, and Guy is just holding it. Sets up that screen to negate the trade, and 6K have yet to make any headway. So looks like they're gonna try that A connector after all.
Mephisto once again being that first blood. One of the things Tizora mentioned in that interview is making sure they're able to win the round when they've got the numbers advantage. One of those moments presents themselves, and that's going to be a good operator shot. Hosera, the other arguable deadlifter on 6 Karma, gets taken out.
Tizora getting the operator this early is so dangerous, so terrifying for Stellai's bottom line. He'll set up that decoy to provide a wanton wall to play off of for the rest of Stellai in this pack fight. On the vulnerable door from the connector, it is trivial. Stellai take it to 3-1.
And this is so difficult because it really feels like in the 6 Karma game plan, what they want to do is they want to have Hosera really set up some of that extra map presence, you know, really send Hosera out on his own, get a kill here, get a kill there, be disruptive. But then swapping Hosera onto the Viper, suddenly the life becomes a lot more impactful because that's a lot of smoke pressure. And you see how these Viper walls are so important to facilitate a lot of the movement around of the map. And so we see Hosera playing a lot more careful this time around, which really removes a lot of the kicking power behind 6 Karma. Of course, leaning into that utility can be a little bit helpful, but if you're not able to convert the kills over, then, I mean, that's just going to be the game.
If passivity is all you can rest into, you can't play Corrode. Second smoke is going to be the charm here on A connector, and yet again, Mephisto, we're out of gas! 6K got a trollop stun anyway, and they do have the smokes to at least take some mild space on the A site. But it feels like the crunch is inevitable, and that's because it is. Hosera has to be the linchpin, and he just can't be on the boxes. Stellai break through, time and again. Time for fight number 3, and Stellai win that one too. This is utter dominance to begin so far. And again, there are so many moving pieces of 6K that fall apart the second they enter a site.
And then, like you said, right, like what some of the moving pieces, they start to fall apart, and then you see that level of hesitation, whereas Stellai Gaming, like, they're just moving on forward. They're like, oh yeah, we found this, awesome, now let's do this. They are running the map right now onto this defense, and they're so ready for all of these weird little inconsistencies, and there's no more utility or no more kind of pop-off person on the side of 6 Karma to really go for any of those crazy plays. And so they're consistently getting crunched. They're consistently not aware of some of that flank presence. And when they try and take those gunfights, Stellai Gaming, they're just playing together at this point and making sure that even if they lose that raw gun duel, they'll still be able to walk away with getting the trade at bare minimum. utter dominance, exactly like you said, as right now STE Gaming up 4-1, and there's only a stinger in the hands of Sabor on the side of 6 Karma.
Gonna try and spread this thin for another attempt. You can hear the crowd from here. It's pivotal to not give an inch to 6K here. Don't let them start their own streak on an attack half that can be so in the midst of a seesaw. Toxic orb to get them up to the elbow, but the poke out from Pelancito is the guy who's holding the spike. And so, once again, on the first step, the push is tripped.
Oops.
Yeah, why not?
30 seconds.
You're starting to toy with them. You can feel the mental battle starting to wage.
Spike down mid.
Yeah,
Stuff.
Zenatsu closing that one out too. And you know, we talked about the fact that yeah, STE Gaming are going to be the crowd favorite here in Brazil, but at the same time, like, I'm going to be honest with you, even if there wasn't a crowd, the level of comfort we are seeing from STE Gaming on how they want to approach this versus the timidness that 6 Karma have to do in order to get any little sort of ground. They didn't even make their way onto site, and they're complete util dumping because they know that STE Gaming are going to be all over the place. And once again, talking about how some of these mind games can kind of get set up, then that's another easy way for STE Gaming to just be like, okay, they're going to be initiating in here. We'll just hang out because we know they're going to toss out all sorts of utility. The flashes, Mephisto's going to fly in, and suddenly all those tools are kind of taken off the board completely, which is making it even more difficult for 6 Karma to even get a foot in the door.
And so when you come to this timeout, it's so tough to even find a place to start, is it? Like, you don't even know at what point you begin to start getting constructive. Because it feels like no matter when they spring the trigger, no matter how many people they offer to the problem, no momentum can really be established. I think the choke points, like STE are, first of all, way too keen on holding on for that extra second to these extra corners. And it's giving way too many free frags over to a 6K that is so desperate to extend. I mean, you see Pelancito really trying to show for a Sabor forward so that you can get some sort of extra ground on top of all the setting up that Joe is, supposed to be doing on site. But it's just none of it can get started. Where do you even begin?
I genuinely do wonder if this is one of those things where 6 Karma making some of those changes in their play style is almost like, not like counterproductive, but introducing more wrenches into a system that may not have been working before. And they're looking for success in this. Well, the balance of what is going on, unfortunately, is not quite there just yet. And as a result, like, STE Gaming, they're really taking so many of these rounds. After that timeout, looks like the pressure will be on this middle site. But already the adaptation coming through. STE watching for these crosses.
Face your fear!
Ready for the stack. The knife falls early onto it. But who's gonna win this one? Zenatsu just pops the overdrive and peeks into the stack, and so does SW.
Toxins
Vulnerable position that STE play into instead of out of. Perhaps a moment of confidence that may bite them in the ass. Oh, Josero winning that 1v1 against Tisora as well. Everybody from 6 Karma stabilizes, and they'll get their second round on the board.
Okay, maybe that was just a little bit of an overconfidence coming through from STE Gaming there.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to 6 Karma that time. Like, they just kind of set up some traps and then, made it seem like, oh yeah, we're going to be moving forwards. We're going to be moving forwards. And then you see, like, STE Gaming, they're like, they're going to be moving forwards. We should out-peak them. And then they just walk forward into the crosshairs. And, it works out perfectly. Like, 6 Karma really didn't have to move that much, if I'm being honest. They just kind of held their ground in mid.
So it seems like 6K are gonna see if they can rage bait there a little bit more, but SW is not gonna have any of it with this Odin.
Yeah, that really shuts down a lot of the options for laning, specifically on middle. But STE Gaming just kind of playing things slow as of right now. Six Karma as well, just hoping to potentially bait somebody out again and find a free kill, make it a little bit easier here. But Zenatsu so far forward.
He just loves doing this, doesn't he? And he'll get punished by OdaQ. They have probably practiced that timing a million times. That looked so rehearsed.
Yeah.
Shows the weaknesses for Stellai.
That's the thing. Once again, one of the strengths of Six Karma that we got to see is their willingness to kind of adapt. And we're seeing like that timeout really come to fruition. Already the counterplays are getting set up from them.
The pack looks ready to go here. Convergent Pass will fully stave away the flash.
30 seconds
But it does require Saborda TP in here, but that's a gorgeous setup to throw Tisora off, who continuously plays forward. And 6K bank on confidence again and win. Tough decision for Stella to make from here. It's not exactly like the economy is flourishing. And yeah, they'll call it. SW and C Zorch turn tail. Their trust in each other will not carry them far enough into a 2v4.
I think just that time around, like, you know, the whole like timidness that we saw Six Karma really approaching the site with, the fear of like walking into something that they don't know what's gonna happen, it looks completely discarded that time around. They're going for the creative plays. I mean, obviously using the convergent paths alongside the From the Shadows masks that noise, so then suddenly you're not expecting the Omen to kind of pop out of nowhere. It just feels like these are such confidence plays coming through from Six Karma, which is how this squad has consistently looked good. These are the moments where it all works out for them. It's when they're playing slower, when they're playing more scared. That's when things start to fall apart. And honestly, so far, I feel like this map has done a great job demonstrating that.
And for that matter, it's sort of when Stellai get into this sort of confident groove that they also have played their best historically in Brazil. Once Tisora and Zenatsu start getting activated and I mean, sometimes just drag their team over the line, but to an extent, the rest of the team as well, you see that confidence start to play into their decisions to go more forward and beckon the fight, that fast-paced play that Joe mentioned that Brazil is more keen for than North America sometimes. And I think Six Karma, I mean, you saw it there with OdaQ on the flash. The second that Zenatsu had inched up to his spot, they knew exactly when he was going to be there.
Yeah.
They are aware of these confidence plays that Stellai is going to go for. They are knowledgeable of the kind of step-ups that this team is going to do. And the second that they've gone for those, they have activated on it. They have sprung the trap and they've turned this game the other way. I think that's such a beautiful adaptation, but it's also a temporary one that'll let Stellai take the timing back, kind of pace things out a little more. And so you got to look back at Mephisto again for my money here, man. You got to see him do some damage on these elbows of the site going forward.
Yeah, and it's so funny, like, thinking about that interview with Hosera, just like, yeah, like with the university, we just couldn't like figure out, like, were they going fast? Were they going slow?
He was glazing them like hard, dude.
Yeah, like you could see like the confusion just written on his face. But honestly, the first couple of rounds, yeah, it looked like Six Karma still confused. But those last couple of rounds, the last 3 rounds, I mean, you can tell Six Karma, they're getting a read on what's going on here. And they're not as confused and being able to kind of read the plays that Stellai Gaming have kind of put together. And you know what? That's going to have to keep Stellai in check. You could already see a bit of an adaptation coming out from that timeout. The Neon not pushing as far forwards and not as much emphasis right now being stacked on the middle, which I think that this actually kind of works out well because they're ready to punish if they push up through middle, but they're not overcommitted to it, opening up some of the gaps, allowing Six Karma to set up those trap plays.
6K.
Bring them down.
Once again, looking at mid.
Here.
Seeing the sparkle. That connector is looking kind of juicy after the screen will get them this far with nothing meeting them. The patience from Stellai in a snap activated.
Now the lurk up through mid is going to be online. It's going to be Gyu just on the top of there.
Yeah.
Watching just in case they overextend, but it should be a B crunch.
Yeah, he hears it all. And they'll only put C Zord forward. Maybe a C's for the pack? No, it's to deal with the spear tip, but yeah, Joe can just step into that.
30 seconds left.
That's a beautifully pitched B site. Counteracting patience with patience, and it gets them to spike plant. Does require the null command, and now the Viper's Pit on top.
Defenders, though, wrapping around here. A little bit of a flank coming online.
You get quite a few free sprays in the meanwhile. OdaQ, 1 and not 2. Zenatsu Foot to the floor. What do you find? Josera was spotted, but not dealt with, and that was the kill they needed. 6K can break through every other corner, and they can get confident now. Mephisto on nothing, and he is up. Speaking to Brazil, what more do you have to offer? It better be more.
I love that we finally get to see a lot of these challengers teams. Since they're in that live environment, the stand-ups are gonna be insane. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like, that was a very beautifully executed push onto that B site. We see them take so much space onto mid, which tends to be one of the bigger points on Corrode specifically, but then the crunch in works perfectly, leaning back into that style of having Josera be alone, be isolated, but able to move in just when the team needs him to. So a great round coming through from 6 Karma, now just one round away from tying up the scoreline against STE, who once again have looked phenomenal on this map. I believe in stage 2 in Brazil, they haven't dropped this map at all, so this is their biggest comfort pick, and if 6 Karma can steal that away, well, it's not looking really good for Brazil's favorite.
Seems like their pacing could be enough to make the attack half theirs. But it takes that extension of the patience. It takes that continuous punishment of STE poking their heads out of the sand. And SW
Toxins.
will back away in that regard. The whole stack on B main. Guy gets a lot of stall with the snake bite, but the flash into Mephisto's dash gets them on the site anyway. He's got to do a lot of stall work, though. And in the meantime, SW activates,
down, B.
gets 2 before falling from that TP on the Deafen. That's a gorgeous combo that has forced 6K onto this B site even faster than they would have liked. But they'll go forward. Stun onto supports from the relay as well. STE continuously just sticking hurdles in. This is disgusting work from them. And now the dimensional drift to continuously establish the crunch may not even be necessary with how Zenatsu's working. In fact, Zenatsu may be all they need and all they can have. But Guy has that crossfire for the final kill, and STE restabilized 6-4. They outpatient 6K.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, we've seen 6 Karma, what they would have liked to do is push into the main, establish that site dominance all the way back there. But you could tell, like, uh-oh, we don't necessarily have the utility to do that. They walked away with too many of their agents alive. We don't feel confident in that back push, which then you can see, like, the timing just works out perfectly. But yeah, I mean, that little combo there is just unbelievable. The micro plays might be really making, honestly, the reason why that STE are kind of walking out on top. It's so beautifully done by SW to find that and just find 2 kills right off the bat. Honestly, just knocking the wind out of 6K's sails completely.
Moments like those that just remind you who could be a cut above. But it ain't over till it's over, and 6K have tricks up their sleeve as well. Much more aggressive mid-fight for both sides this time. Zenatsu is way in, and SW's already gone. Tisora, the first to light things up, takes it to a 3v3. And he wants more. Here's the steps. And Zenatsu will start creeping up. But A is now opened up fully. And Josera has walked this up the whole way through. Big stack flanking. 6K might be too slow to this. They don't have intel. And Piloncito just got his kit back. Final Prowler utilized for the close connector presence. And they'll stop the foot to the gas just enough to get on site safely.
Yeah, I mean, it's still not comfortable. Josera so far away as well, that might actually end up biting 6 Karma in the back.
Cduzord giving away his position with the haunt, but Zenatsu, the extension from the elbow, catches Oda-Q before the screen gets procced. And Josera, he feels like so much must fall to him, and that's because it does. After the timing wanes, it must be him that wins that 1v3, and he will not. STE demand 6K sit back down as it's 7-4 their way.
The crowd just absolutely electric as well. The momentum flying. You can feel the sparks just across the stage for both of these 2 teams right now. And yeah, honestly, just excellent adaptation there. That time around, we see STE Gaming be so much more aggressive onto mid in order to hold it, deny that presence. They identified that that is what is 6 Karma's win condition. And then you see the perfect timing around the flash, the double duelists ready to fly out there. It works out perfectly for them to get STE up to 7. Now in the last round of this half, it does feel like the wind has been kind of sucked out of 6 Karma. But STE Gaming, they're looking to make this that 8-4 half, and they've got the crowd in the audience right behind them.
Oh, they are loud and proud of their top seed that is still fighting to stay in this tournament. After losing their representative in the play-in, São Paulo is hopeful that their country can bring them pride. And Tisora will get them loud again with the first blood, entering upon himself to deal with one of the most consistent fraggers on 6K so far in this tournament. They will now send 2 his way just in time for him to play getaway as STE dismantles the lurker in Peloncito. And this half continues to get more boisterous for the defenders as they play yet more patiently than ever. Tisora stands alone on the occupied A site, and he will lose to Mephisto's extension that turns this to a 3v4.
And honestly, I just want to say, like, those initial fights, yeah, it was Tisora who got the kill, but Zenatsu was right there, just in case that one went wrong. And we see that double duelist aggression consistently getting value from STE Gaming on some of these rounds. And so now we are seeing this is going to be the 4-man stack up against the 3 on 6 Karma. And a lot of utility still available. Overdrive gets popped.
A lot of contact clearing that Zenatsu is forcing himself to do here. The smoke will alleviate a lot of that, but the vulnerable door is still always the hot button issue. Fragment out first as this fuel gets drained. It's down to just the gunplay to get fully on this spike. 6K have reduced this to a triviality, and Oda-Q has had enough. 2, 3 for him. Make it another. The shorty grabs 2 more. And 6K answer with their own statement to make it a 5-7 half.
That was kind of crazy. I mean, just with the smoke there, like STE Gaming, they want to go in, they want to make that one work, but Oda-Q just alone, basically, making sure that anything gets absolutely denied. But yeah, once again, crazy matchup between these two teams thus far. It's been a very electric half. 6 Karma, they're not out of it just quite yet. Once again, they're adapting themselves perfectly. They're making sure that they are trying to read their opponent and counterplay them where necessary. But still, STE Gaming, they're nice and confident on this map, and they are going to continue to show it with that 7-5 half.
Bastarda. E aí, amiga, tá feliz? Tá se divertindo aqui com a gente?
Sim, tá bem divertido ser espectadora dessa vez.
I'm with Bastarda. She's one of the stars of the MIBR Game Changers roster. E amiga, não foi tão bom a estreia da nossa STE. Você sabe muito bem, nervosismo, jogar a primeira vez e tal. Mas você que já jogou muito na frente dessa torcida, quanto que a torcida fazendo esse barulho ajuda?
Ajuda às vezes em algumas causas, assim, tipo, sei lá, alguém tá marotado e alguém tá, quando tu chega gritando já dá pra saber que tem alguma coisa acontecendo, mas ajuda bastante ter uma torcida que realmente, tipo, dá um gás a mais.
I asked her what she's a veteran playing in front of this crowd, how they help the team, and she said all the noise, everything makes the hype go up. E agora, daqui 2 semanas, né? Tô viajando, dia 1º e dia 2, daqui 2 semanas você volta aqui para disputar uma vaga no Mundial. Como é que tá a preparação e como é que tá o coração aí para termos um segundo representante brasileiro no Game Changers Championship?
Eu não tenho dúvidas que a gente vai classificar para a Coreia.
Tá bom, tá bom. So daqui in 2 weeks they're coming back here to play the LCQ, the Americas LCQ for Game Changers Championship, and asked her how the preparation is going, and she said she's 100% sure they are playing on the championship. E agora bora voltar pro game.
Yeah, but Bastarda looking for the right spots to stick all the secret bugs and cameras in preparation for that last chance qualifier for Game Changers Championship. Some real Brazilian legends here in the arena trying to watch the next one get made as STE continue to fight with the crowd behind them against this 6 Karma squad that just won't die.
Like, I like how they called them the dark horse of this tournament, because 6 Karma kind of earning their spot in here from the play-ins, and then obviously like going up against their arch nemesis at this point. Winthrop University is not exactly how they wanted to start at the tournament, but once they kind of get into their groove a little bit more, like they're still showing major signs of life. I mean, given that this is such a shoe-in for Stellite Gaming, obviously they're going to pick Corrode. This is such a good map for them. Six Karma are making this a very competitive half, even despite some of the changes in how they want to play their composition.
As we head to opposing sides now, the question is, does the Stellite double duelist activate that same ferocity that 6K's potential boasted this whole half, that got them so much ground in the meantime? First push up A main, heavily occupied by 6 Karma to start things out. This is how OtaQ likes to play a lot of these first takes. Meet him with a flash, a knife, scare him, spook him away. And it will. Stelli's already over to B. Less occupied, but 6K dancing their way towards it. Joe watching that TP into the stun. He's ready for it, and he takes care of it. First prong down, now spraying through the Toxic Orb. Pelancito and Josera are given everything there. And it leaves CD Zoich, that IGL, alone and very easily given away. A 4-man pistol round held up by 6 Karma on the defense.
And just a great lockdown of the site, playing off the smokes perfectly. The Toxic Orb as well just makes sure that Josera just has such an easy time getting that spray down. You get rid of some of their HP, especially on a pistol round. It's going to be a nice and easy. So an excellent kind of like first round back for 6 Karma, especially if they want to potentially just time to take this map away. That looked like a very strong start on that defense. As soon as Stellite Gaming walked in, they were already dead on the ground.
Finding those early guarantees is everything for a team as momentum-based as Stellite wants to be. And finding those early duelist kills so that you can't get sandwiched is everything. Terrific awareness by Stellite and 6 Karma to open things up. Defending squad on those guns now. Josera, as always, just holding it down. Taking on the crowd. Little damage traded.
Zanatsu actually takes quite a bit and
down B.
spray down from OtaQ. Makes it so that the fade is completely off the table, which is going to make it more difficult for them to try and get into one of the sites. OtaQ not quite done yet. Still looking for a little bit more action.
Yeah, that spike drop in it. Seems like they were maybe hungry to find the fight there, but realized Stellite has the angles and the time to reposition. They have now made their way over to A with SW still stuck here. Will he find anything? Smoke placed up, just keeping some over. Trying to stall this out, prevent the stack from being there, but 6K can spread the resources thin. They have all the guns they need. Sabor, Swarm, beautiful paranoia, but there's enough players to make it work. Still though, they're choked inside, and it requires Zanatsu finding the off angle to even give a chance for another fight, which 6K will quickly stop. We are tied up at 7.
Yep, 6 Karma. Still looking pretty darn good thus far. Stellite Gaming, I mean, obviously I complimented them on how that double duelist synergy is working on their side. You see Tesora really just kind of set the pacing, and then Zanatsu flying around, trying to take those off angles, trying to take those timings. And so now that we're going to be moving more into like some of these gun rounds, I'm curious to see how that synergy is going to continue to march forwards. I think that they work really well off of one another, off of the utility, and that's the chance to find an easy first kill on 6 Karma for those defenders to really open up one of those sites. But so far, obviously it's just 2 rounds in thus far, but so far they haven't found those opportunities.
Time to jump.
Hopeful to find one here on the bonus. Just get that springboard and you're good. But get stopped now. And 6 Karma could have the easiest way to that map 1 they can ask for. Knife unbreakable. Catches Zanatsu. 6K. Reactively keep those resources nice and spread. Pelancito is doing a tremendous job of holding court here in mid. Even that jump peak to stall them a couple extra seconds longer.
Yeah, I love just kind of the stalling that we see 6 Karma do. And like, look at this, Stellite Gaming have to use so much in order to just kind of walk through. And Pelancito almost finds a kill just blindly through the smoke. So a lot of the initial damage done, which is going to make this 6 Karma bonus round just a little bit easier for them, given the weaponry that they have.
Zanatsu walking in dazed, and so it'll be him with his own sort
Oh, it's so
to
good.
start and begin things, but I mean, yeah, the snake bite. That switch up by Joe, showing the dividends. Stella got to go for attempt number 2. 13 seconds to go. The smoke's blocking out the doorways. It is going to be difficult no matter how you slice it. And 6K know it. Mephisto good for 2. And that is the signal. 6K don't even need everybody there. They destroy the crowd and win the bonus with ease.
And Hosera, the person that we know for playing Chamber, playing the sniper rifle, cleans it up with a Bucky at the very end there. And I think that the mind games right now being activated on both of these sides, it's really starting to showcase their faces, because you can see STE Gaming, they want to play that one a little bit slow. That round though, what 6 Karma were calling were just to stall them out with the utility. And so any single time we saw a little bit of momentum, then 6 Karma would just flush them out, deny it. You know, you're not able to walk in here, there's smoke, a molly, something at your feet. Okay, we're waiting down the clock again. STE Gaming, when they decide to move on another site or take a little bit more room, they're stalled out yet again, making it so that we've only got like 15 seconds left on the clock. That was completely just a better called round coming through from Peloncito on 6 Karma, really just to drain that clock down.
Yeah, you have to give so much credit to Peloncito there. That was one of the best called rounds I've seen so far at this tournament. Facilitating all of that mid-fighting and then getting the pot shots onto Zenatsu's head to pressure him forward that extra bit. Just every inch is a mile for this guy, even when he's not playing on the site. And then he just cradles them over to that A connector. Josera waiting with that snake bite. He hasn't had to use that whole round. Absolutely masterful. And so, yeah, I see this is the perfect time to call the timeout. You have to jump the gun and try to stop this momentum right here and now. You know this buy is going to be shoddy. You know 6K's buy is going to be intentionally shoddy because of that. Their economy is basically set for the rest of the game. And so it's going to take so much more surprise approaches and, unfortunately, whipping out some of the god strats in order to get STE over the line here. This Corrode game is going to have to get a lot more high-strung. And back to that confidence play for STE. Yeah. Understanding how much better they can be once they're on. It's just, again, so beautifully called by Peloncito to reduce that.
It's so funny because, like, when we first started out this map, STE Gaming just looking phenomenal, right? Like, you can see they're coming out there, they're like, you know, oh, look at us doing these confidence plays. We're so good at Valorant. Everything is amazing. We got the crowd behind us. This is our game to win. And then just with a little bit of tactical rejigging coming through from 6 Karma, being really smart about the util and not leaning into that just kind of frag forward game style that we really expected from them, you can see that STE Gaming is a little bit more confused, a little bit less confident in some of those swings because they're starting to lose things away. And you know the mental pressure has to slowly be stacking up on that squad at 6 Karma. They took the lead on this map.
Yeah, you can really tell that Zenatsu and Tesoro were preparing to approach Joe the way they would a Chamber. To resequence this against the Viper util is so tough to do in the moment. Zenatsu finds a good opening, as always, and yet it is nothing compared to the wave that 6 Karma boasts in return. Absolutely nothing to write home about that round, and the gap is now twofold.
That round was so interesting because it looked like the attacking round that we saw from 6 Karma when they took over that A site. They know exactly how they want to be playing these things, and it shows that they're coming into this one with a very solid game plan. The Haunt gets so much value, just allowing Peloncito to be the Reaper himself, walking in and finding all of the individual members while Hosera is watching from above. Excellent round from 6 Karma to get even more momentum behind him.
The Brazilian crowd stunned, silenced, but still so much more game to play. And the members of STE certainly been here before. Tough battles, fast ones they've had to continuously deal with through Brazil. But STE also had the biggest gap between play, not having to be in that Brazilian LCQ. Arguably the rustiest between events.
Shadows traveling.
Once again, like, this is just 6 Karma stalling things out. So much utility from STE has to be used in order to just get some of these smaller places.
Zord was walled out by Mephisto. He has to take a long road here, and so Stellai with the 4-stack, they still see this is the right time to go, and they're correct. Onto a lesser spread, they will deal with the 2, and only lose a little bit of Gee's health pool here. He'll hold the first contact on the connector, where Mephisto now sits, expectedly from Zord, who now holds the flank just in cases. Lash out from Otaku. Tisora has a great choke up here, and he should be able to play this himself if he wants. Oh no, they're on the run back. Get out of there. Yeah, too much in your face. That's gonna be the round for sure.
And Mephisto just trying to look to potentially get some of the weapons out of the hands of the opponent at this point, and can't even quite find the kill there. So Stellai Gaming, they completely recover themselves back into this one. You know, after taking that time out, rejig, refix, figure out exactly what they wanted to do that time. And of course, with the dimensional drift, it makes it so much easier. Just because you know exactly where everyone's going to be set up, you don't have to worry about all of that stall utility. You can run right through it. And once again, that synergy between Tisora as well as Zenatsu has been looking extra sharp. And when it fires, it absolutely destroys 6 Karma.
Man, I love hearing and seeing these players just get on their feet.
Spicy.
And they're playing for their life. They're playing for their dream here. This is as cutthroat as it can get when it comes to Valorant. And everybody on this stage feels it. So many rookies on this stage as well. So many players that are new to this level. To set a reputation here would be epic.
Shadows traveling.
If not life-changing in the future. Imagine how many of these players have been getting scouted, potentially poached. You set up a future in places like this.
Great kill from Zenatsu in order to take down Hosera, making it so that that Viper's Wall is no longer even in play. I will say though, 6 Karma, they're poking outside of A. Saborts has been doing a good job of controlling that space, and so 6 Karma should have a read that this is either mid presence or it's going to be a B side heavy hit. Otaku has to do something because this is going to be a fast and furious.
Yeah, all at once and then nothing at all. Otaku playing preventative as long as he can. That's 2 nades deep, and then we are in and up and running. Everything on site cleared, no questions there. 6K won't even interact. And Zenatsu stopped! Checkpoint figured out. Otaku yet again playing with their emotions. Gee finally finds connection. Mephisto read like a book. And 6K, they've got to act fast before the rest of the force gets there. But SW has burned Otaku from the back now that his position has been fully confirmed. And a gorgeous haunt slows them down even further. 6K can't make any more headway from there.
Yeah, at this point, they're just looking, once again, to try and slap some of the rifles out of the hands of Stellai Gaming, but excellent job from Stellai Gaming that time around. You see, there's little, very small micro adjustments that are being made in order to make sure that they can kind of counter things out. You see, immediately, they know some of that stall utility is going to be coming out. Okay, let's hold on to our initiation a little bit more. We're just going to do just enough to make them think that we're moving in there, and then all of that kind of stuff flies in onto the map. And it's just these little moments where like, okay, if we want to move in now, then the game plan is ready. We haven't burned through so much of that utility. Everything is just looking a little bit sharper when Stellai Gaming want to execute on those sites. It's that kind of awareness that 6 Karma are almost hypersensitive to toss out that stall utility so quickly, as we've kind of seen when, you know, you're watching the POV from Sabors all the way onto that A site, immediately sees one person, shoots out the smokes, backs off, maybe the paranoia. Let's see how this one goes. Is well, it's going to be the timeout being called right now. Stellai Gaming, they're on the back foot.
This makes the pool quite shallow in the finality of the game. It's fully played through from here. And so if a team manages to find momentum in these opening 2, it could be everything. No way to stop it from behind the curtain. And 6 Karma, it feels like at this point, it's all about the position. It's all about the read. Pelencito, all eyes are on him to keep a leash on Stellai's attack that is starting to break off of that chain. still spread resources, still playing the same sort of way, still probably seeing Mephisto go for those lurks, inserts, flanks, whatever you want. Comes down to activating at the right moment. As if Stellai can find the right Jenga piece before the tower fully comes crumbling down, they place their own atop. And keep that dominance.
Mephisto as well has the convergent paths this time around. Speaking of stall tools, it's a little bit of a stall tool, but also a go-kill tool, so especially with the operator in hand, this was a player that Desk was saying really has to turn things up a little bit. Come on, Pelencito, as annoying as ever with the Odin on mid, and this is something that we've seen Pelencito bust out quite a few times and get extreme value with. Initiator and an Odin, say less.
Stellai, it feels like they have to expect this. Mephisto delivers. The timing is altered now from Josera, but perfect as ever. The toxic screen set up to let Mephisto swing back to square one. Meanwhile, the lurk this time is far more adept, as Guy has stolen away Ota. But there is another policing. A music video in the 80s. Oh, but eventually it's cracked. SW's found it. Poor Sabor. And up goes the pit in this proxy 2v3, now fully fledged. As C2 Zord will once again hold flank. Nothing doing this time for Mephisto. The guy still got that operator. But, like you said, with that convergent paths, able to drill into this retake. And he looks set up to do just that. Nightfall first, though. And we'll use them both in tandem. Both members slowed, stalled, and stopped. And that's what C2 Zoich is for. Protects on Josera first. And 6K can't outline. Guy steps out when the timing is done, falls to Mephisto's operator, and now they've got to contact their way through it. But C2 Zord still standing as that thorn. Mephisto, distraction! Pelencito holding the defuse, and now it's Mephisto who's got to double back the other way. The saturate misses. C2 Zord doesn't have enough time to get back to that spike, and Pelencito will win out the round for 6 Karma, and Stellai won't even challenge. They need the operator for the next round.
I am at a loss of words right now, Tenrek. How did that retake happen? I think once again, it's just the confidence coming through from Stellai Gaming. Maybe feeling themselves just a little bit too much. The step out from the Viper just completely gets the pit offline, and suddenly that win condition completely annihilated, despite the fact that we had that flank so well put together. 6 Karma, they steal away a round that should have been Stellai Gaming's. 6 Karma now 3 rounds away from stealing the home favorites map pick away. It's looking as dangerous as ever from the 6 Karma squad.
They can continue the zoning. What do the fights matter if Stellai gains those inconsistent advantages? Pelencito's Odin continuing to ring on mid. Stellai trying to act towards it more, but that's the condition that 6K are hoping for. Ota Q ready with that flash. Pelencito lets fly the whole kit to try to play keep away, as Stellai indecisive with where the spike should toil, and that's where Ota Q lets fly the flash. But all the while, the stuns are ready. Zenatsu and Tisora having to hold it down, and the extension from the link is what gets 6 Karma the advantage this time. Mephisto and Sabor find their way back to reset for round 2.
Oh boy. 2v3 here. Gonna be moving in onto this B site ahead of the Viper's pit. So should be able to get that spike down nice and easy. But this is still a very tall order for Stellai Gaming to walk away with this one, as this is gonna be the Nightfall used right off the bat.
Yeah, just thrown into the pit. Make sure that Josera can't get any util or intel off of that for the time being. But 6K, they see that it's perfectly fine. They don't want the fight at the moment. The rest of the stack is going to join Josera in the full-fledged 3v2. Judge for this Viper as it deactivates, and C2 Zord keeps the distance. Flash in for the reset on fight number 1. 6K is in. Tisora beautifully timed, and it leads to the 2v1. Sabor, so many options he has to deal with, and the smoke should give his position away off right. Oh, Sabor, does he hold it again? Halfway at the very least. Prowler into the headshot from C2 Zoich. Well managed by Stellai to keep this game even.
I am so impressed with C2 Zoich and the positions that he goes for in these post plants, right? Like being so tricky, but so reliable at the very end there. Obviously that last round, yeah, we can kind of write that one off, but it doesn't doesn't take away from the fact that a lot of these positionings are extremely good in these post-plant positions there. I do think that Six Karma are really taking the attack towards STE Gaming, which is really working out well for them, taking off a lot of the key members, and it's forcing that kind of like head-to-head duel against the last remaining members. It's tied up 10-10 now, as honestly, at this point, both of these teams might be able to steal this map away.
And desperate to scrap it out if it gets to that point at this point. But you still are so desperate to play the smart way, the safe way. The most consistent things that have gotten you this far. Sure as hell ain't mid for STE. They came so close to being a deer in headlights in the previous round. But Peloncito has already made that adjustment with the share of the crouch, though. And that's checkpoint number 1 done. 6K trying to make this defense sequential with the weaker buy. But the toxic screen allows STE so much passive space that they don't even have to fight for. And Zenatsu and Tisora will be the noisemakers here on A main as the spike makes its way over to B.
Coming through.
Once again, you could see STE Gaming. Double duelists, do your thing. The rest of us, we're moving around. And honestly, this is... No, I'm not going to say it's a poorly called round just quite yet, but STE Gaming are walking right into the trap. We're going to be seeing the Yoru ult utilized to try and fish out some of these players, but Six Karma, they've got a really good hold of the site.
Yeah, Tisora's gotten hungry for the crunch as opposed for the intel, and Josera has met it! It didn't even take more than him! 6K keep the close range. STE double back to main, but there's 12 seconds to go, and they don't know who's here to meet it. Thank God it's no one. Sabor is the only one remaining. A pot shot can deal with C-Duzor, but from there it should be easy from STE to hold on to this round. Yeah. And indeed, Guy has the long shot. They came into the stack, sure, but they had enough to deal with it this time around, and they will take the lead.
It was scary for a second. Like, you can't deny the fact that STE Gaming walking into that, it could have honestly gone down either way, but I really do think that this time the weaponry working out perfectly for them. A couple of off angles and enough bodies making sure to check all of these different angles, shut down all of the members of Six Karma. And even though Six Karma, they did a good job of really stabilizing things, STE Gaming, once they get rolling, they are looking tight as ever. And honestly, hey, got that crowd cheering you along. You got the boomsticks flying off in the background. Makes it a lot more exciting to have some of these plays work out into your favor, as they're now 2 rounds away from securing their map pick.
And the economic toppler here and now. Not to mention half of 6K on the light shields too. These phantoms that Zenatsu and SW have, all the more dangerous in these lurks. Still though, playing it nice and slow. Peloncito back in mid now that he has this Odin up and running. STE not touching it with a 10-foot pole this round.
Bring them down.
I'm gonna be honest with you, like, Six Karma have done such a good job at controlling mid on that defense that, like, STE Gaming, like, they just simply don't want anything to do with it anymore.
Prowler for the light speed. Yoru sends the decoy in. Tisora is now out for the 1. And Six Karma, the stack is here on the B site. Ozaku with the first blood on the swing in, and this is a little too slow for STE's liking. All of a sudden, Zenatsu alone, and the spike now in Otaku's possession. But 8 HP in the 1v2 yet again. It seems like STE have done the work, but it's not fully finished.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I think it is fully finished. Like, I think at this point, Otaku is just trying to save that rifle.
Is he gonna save the gun, you think? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, because, like, should have had the information that the spike was down. Not too sure whether or not saw any of the players, but given the fact that the walk across happened, oh, might have just been a mystery. Didn't realize where the spike was.
He's going in. He's going for it. Put everything on Zenatsu first. We're not even checking it. Okay, so I mean, you walk into this next round with no guns now. That did come as a little bit of a surprise after he made it so far away. It seems like a moment of indecision, perhaps, for Six Karma, and now they're not on a great buy.
Yeah, you know what probably happened? He heard the sound from the Neon running away, but didn't realize that it was just to actually escape and not scoop up the spike. And so you hear the Neon run away, you assume the spike is probably gone, you want to cut off that rotation, find it nice and early. And unfortunately, OTQ not able to really find the timing there, and so Rifle gets dropped down. STE Gaming, one more round to get the map.
It is awkward as can be. Josera, yeah, really sticking a magnifying glass over that decoy, making sure Tisora isn't getting too silly. Mephisto, this is just what he does. Oh, come on, SW, are you kidding?
That would have been crazy.
I have the spike.
All right,
Shadows traveling.
continued neutrality. A continued urge to knife fight Peloncito. Fast lane, yeah, even that's not piled into because the Prowler in response. The timing from this phase is spectacular.
Well, Mephisto taking a lot of damage here. Down to 45 HP, but once again, like, this time around, that double duelist stack is going to be facilitating the spike here. So that could confuse 6 Karma because every single time they've seen the double duelist, they've teleported away.
Leave us.
He has stuck this, and we're in. OTQ gets that first lineup. 19 seconds to go. Oh, man. Oh, SW. All right.
No way.
Let's give it a go.
10 seconds left.
Submore is here. Paranoia. And it's stuck, but no one's here.
Uh-oh.
We gotta get here. Sabor doesn't know, though. Oh, and Ceduzord can rush to it. So 2 still standing. STE could still wrap this here. The forced hesitation from 6K gives STE another chance at this. Spraying on top of the spike, but Tisora pressured. Ceduzord here to cover. 1 down for them. And the crowd continues the fight. Josera now here on the tail. The turn to it is perfect from Cedu. OTQ to save this in the Nightfall. Contributed into it, the decay, into the Prowler, into the win. Cedu Zoich holding the pride for Brazil and STE Gaming, who will wrap up Corrode 13-10.
You are kidding me that is how that map ends. Honestly, just shenanigans down to the wire there from STE Gaming in order to win things out just down to the wire. And yeah, once again, that hesitation from 6 Karma really opens up all of those avenues for STE to come out on top in the midst of all of it. Sure, a lot more obvious